all this open land is so amazing. It got me thinking of the book Brave New World, right? Where Aldous Huxley kind of lays out the globalists or these elitist scumbags plans for what they want for all of us, right? And one of the things that they want is they want us all to live in these compact cities, right? In tiny little apartments, tiny little coffin apartments like they have over in Japan. I don't know if you've ever seen that, where they have these little rolly beds, because the guys over there, they work, nonstop. And I'm not talking about China, I'm talking about first world country Japan, where they work their, fingers to the bone, and then they get off at the end of the day, they're exhausted, and they roll into this little coffin apartment. It's crazy. And it's got a little TV, and they can just lay there, watch TV till they fall asleep, and then roll themselves back out and then back to work in the morning, right? And that's basically the plan that they want for all of us. But we are so used to having freedom, and we are so used to having open lands and nice 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom houses, that we can't just jump from having all of that to having a coffin apartment. So they have to have like a middle step in there, right? And so they've already got everybody in the cities used to living in tiny little, apartments. What they have to have for the rest of us is they have to have it kind of like a sexy and appealing thing, and they know that life has gotten so incredibly expensive for almost everyone that they can't make it out there by themselves. They either have to have a bunch of roommates, or they have to have a relationship or whatever to be able to make ends meet, right? And so what they have kind of been pushing as the propaganda is van life, right? And I'm not hating on van life. I actually really like the idea of getting like a 4-wheel drive van and go living by a river somewhere, And back in my day, that used to be a very funny Chris Farley joke, right? Where, I'm going to get a van and live by the river. It was kind of a derogatory thing. But now it's kind of like become the new American dream. The American dream of like starting a business and getting a big house and, family and all that stuff. Everybody's looking at me like, I can't afford that. I'm already in massive amounts of debt. How am I going to get the American dream? So they're like, the new American dream is getting a van and living down by the river. And I tell you what, it sounds so incredibly appealing, and I like it so much. But it's not for everyone, obviously. But yeah, that was kind of the stepping stone that they're getting for us, getting us used to like the van down by the river or the tiny house, right? And the tiny house costs almost as much as like a house in a rural town in Texas, right? You can get a big house in a rural town in Texas for the same price that you can get your tiny house, that is real subcompact, house, which I also think are very cool. I'm not hating on any of this tiny stuff. I like tiny stuff. Look at this little tiny bike ride over here, okay? But yeah, they have to have the stepping stone to get the American people to where they will accept almost nothing, right? And be happy with it, right? So they got to get us to where we will be happy in our coffin apartment with our Oculus